BYU, like they did with basketball, is pushing all the chips into the middle on football. And I know that that's not going to be a message to the committee this year, but it's certainly a message received by the BYU power brokers that, if you're going to really compete, you have to decide to be in it.
Yeah. And, what's interesting about this is, BYU feels like has been all in. But certainly some of the reports on what Kalani Sitake had been making, I think with it not being a public institution, some of these numbers are just reported, but it was like $3 million a year, which, this day and age for a high level college football coach, that's pretty low. So, I think some of the flirtations with Penn State had to do with that, had to do with NIL, had to do with assistant coaches. It ultimately had to do with what you just talked about, Paul, which is, are you all in enough in order to get us to a spot where we don't have to lobby ourselves to get into the playoff? And look, maybe some of this is just perception and narrative, which, shouldn't be the case, but certainly seems to be the case. And, there's still a belief that when you look at the SEC, you look at the Big Ten, that those are tested teams that have been through the gauntlet. And you look at the Big 12 and it's like, well, that's a cute league. They do some fun things. And, even though the league is now top heavy, as we're seeing with Texas Tech and BYU being the first teams with one or less losses to play in a Big 12 championship game since it was reintroduced, it's still, as top heavy as the league is, it takes a little bit of time, I guess, for the rest of the country and the perception to catch up to the league. And it's probably just what it is at this point in time. So, yeah, I'm glad Sitake is staying. I never really thought he would leave, but it did seem like it was closer than ever to happening. And I think a big part of that was what we just talked about, was getting his money and the money for the assistants and NIL on track to make sure that they had the coffers in order to support it. Because, look at what Texas Tech's doing in recruiting. Signing day is tomorrow, and they've got a big-time class. It's a top 20 class right now for Texas Tech. If they don't lose any of their 5 stars, they've got 2 5 stars and 5 4 stars locked up. Like, that's what the conference needs to see with multiple teams moving forward, because when you look, it's been a lot of Texas and Oklahoma at the top of the, 247 and composite rankings when it comes to recruiting. And we haven't seen a lot of Big 12 schools. And obviously it's going to take some success and money to break through in that way. And Tech has already done that. And so hopefully BYU can with Ryder Lyons as a 5-star in tow right now.